Good day, beautiful soul family, and welcome back to On Another Level. And I hope your evening is going well. And so, anyways, I'm calling this video Beast Mode. So, whenever we think about Beast Mode, it's like, being in the gym and having such a marvelous time working out. I haven't been to the gym lately because I've been dealing with um, some issues that were disrespectful, so I had to take a break. But it's about going beast mode in the gym and or not just in the gym, working outside or just working as you're going forward with the like true determination, right? It's beast mode. The Vice Spirit was telling me about another type of beast mode, however, on a spiritual aspect. And I don't know if this is something that's happened to you. Like I stated, I've got situations happening with me for quite some time with YouTube, and I was actually talking to my sons about it because it is something that I find to be disturbing. And I don't know if there's anybody else who's going through this, but I think sharing is caring, right? and but the Vice Spirit was consoling me, and so also giving me a warning. Now, as far as I see it, I don't think I don't want to. I'm not gonna victimize myself, because I know what time frame we're in. And so I'm just going to continue sharing. I'm just, as Divine Spirit shows me, I'm just going to continue sharing in the hopes that it reaches somebody, because imagine, imagine it rained and then the rain clears and we're all looking for that beautiful rainbow that gives us a sign of hope and we stop seeing the rainbow. And so one reason why we see the rainbow is because it's of hope, right? And it's a reminder to us of divine spirits, right? On like enduring faithful love, unconditional love, okay? And so that keeps me going, you know. So there's a lot of people in this world, There are people who do care. There are people um, who want to know what's going on so that way they can determine on how they can move forward. It's always about moving forward, but moving forward cautiously and being aware and not being surprised by certain things. And so, how Divine Spirit shows me, it's really like from a different angle. And so what Divine Spirit was showing me about beast mode is is um is not totally positive. So one example is YouTube, and I don't know if this is going to show. If not, I'm going to put it on my daily motion because that's another place that I show my videos on whenever my videos are flagged or someone complains about it, right? And so I put it on daily motion, so just in case this doesn't air, you won't know about it. But anyways, um, so the Vice Spirit was speaking to me about my situation, and what is sad is that as brought out on earlier videos, the Vice Spirit is showing me, and I speak about it. I give the message on how our morale is going down. Now, Divine Spirit, as I'm speaking to you, is telling me about my own story. So, I was arrested. It was in Florida, and I was arrested, and it was because of insurance. I didn't pay my insurance, and actually, I was late to pay my insurance. And so I didn't know that there was a warrant out for me. I was working at the YMCA in Florida, and I was a single parent then, a single parent now, and I just really didn't know. And so I got pulled over by a police officer, and I got a ticket. The thing is I paid the ticket, and so because I paid the ticket, I thought I didn't have to come in, but I did. And so then there was, because I didn't come in, there was a warrant. And so what I did was I paid my insurance, made sure that was up to par, and I asked the person, I was like, do I have to appear in court? Really, I asked. And she said, no, your insurance is good. You don't have to go to court. So I thought nothing of it. I thought everything was fine. And, ignorance is not bliss. And so one evening, I'm in my house dress and I'm watching TV with my sons. And then the cops come to my door and they arrest me. And I'm shocked because when the cops came, they weren't nice at all. They weren't. And I was just so worried about my sons because one, they're seeing their mom arrested, and two, I just was perplexed. I didn't know where I was going. I'd never been arrested before. Matter of fact, I was very happy that I never had situations like that happen to me. And here I was being arrested. I had no bra on, no undies on. I was just carefree in my home, just a house dress. And so, long and behold, here I am arrested. I just was worried about my family, and it was my boss who was able to, because I couldn't leave. My children, you know, were at a young age. So, I pretty much, they had me handcuffed in the back of a car, and nobody was answering questions. I couldn't remember phone numbers, and so, but at least I was able to call my boss, and so she was able to come over and watch over my children. Really, they were preteens, and so went off to jail. It was just very, like I said, I've never been arrested before, never had issues like that. And what was so interesting is that it was a blood moon on that night, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Like, I guess this is how it ends. And but it was really interesting. It was sad, and so I was I've been in the military for 11 years, and so I know how to have self control, and I know how, and I do believe in God, and it was so weird though. It was September 26th. It happened too. It was on my sister's birthday, and so I went ahead and was in back of the car. It was very scary, and I knew that I was gonna get out of it. However, just didn't know when. Okay, and I was looking for the lesson, and so I pretty much we the police arrived at the jail, and I was there, and there was another lady, and she was going through the same thing. Matter of fact, she was driving on her way to picking up her child. And as she was driving, a cop had pulled her over and then arrested her. And it was all very sad. It was very sad, and she was very nervous and very irate. And I remember that while we were both sitting there in that jail, now mind you, while I was sitting there, I was already praying. Like I said, I'm a prayer warrior. And so I looked at her because I was like, you know what? Would you like to pray with me? And so as we were sitting there, we were praying. And when we were done praying, we were still had to wait. And she said, thank you for praying with me. And she said that as soon as she can, she would like to pay my what's the bail thing. And I at that point in time, I don't rely on anybody, and I was just, I wasn't asking I wasn't asking for anything by the means of praying with her. I was just noticing that she was going through an ordeal. And because I immediately got into prayer and understanding that there's confusion energies going around, I was already calm. And so interesting enough, she and I were like, we had to put on the orange suit thing, and they, mind you, thank God it was Florida, right? Because it was hot. So mind you, I didn't have a bra or undies on, and it was just so embarrassing because they ordered us to all get undressed. And so I had to, even though I'm not shameful of my body, I had to undress in front of those people. And it was very humiliating. And then they gave, like, I had to wear um, an orange suit thing. And they gave undies, and the undies looked so disgusting, and the bra and everything smelled like onions. And I was just praying that God, please take me out of this situation. And what's so interesting is that so they put us in a cell, and she and we were, I guess because we had the same situation going on. And so I was able to call my boss, and my boss was able to pay the bail fee. And so I was just in there. She and I were just in there for like an hour, an hour or two. And then we were released. And then I had a friend who was able to come by and pick me up. And it was just such a horrible experience. A horrible experience. But I still was thankful. What's so interesting is that after such an experience, and what's so interesting is on the way out, the the guards there were just very rude, and they were showing their true colors, let's just say. And so I held my peace. It's mine. I'm holding on to it. It's not yours. I held on to my peace and left. And was very, very, was very much an eye opener. I went back home, and my children were fine. And because my children were fine, I was fine. The next day, I went back to work and kept it moving. And I went to the court, and the judge that was there, he stated that if he saw, somehow he didn't see that the insurance was paid, because he saw it as he was bringing up my case or whatever. And but it was I was supposed to go to court. And so that is something that I experienced. I made sure that that was taken care of, and I made sure that I can pay back my boss as much as I possibly could. And she is another God-fearing person, and it's just so interesting how, I went to work the next day, had a big old Kool-Aid smile on my face, because I just feel like, we all go through situations, but when we're dealing with other people, you never know who's been through a worser situation. And it's a smile that helps out even the more. And even my boss was like, wow, you would never know that you were just arrested. And when it comes to certain things, I like to keep it that way. I'm a private person, but when it comes to the struggles of my own, I like to stay positive. And so, there are different things that are taking place, but in terms of, that's one thing about being like in beast mode in a positive way. But Divine Spirit was saying that, it's about morale. And in order for the beast to come out of the sea, and it's the sea of emotions. And it's like the morality has to be low. Even though I was arrested, even though I was a little afraid myself, I knew that where there's two in agreement, there is God's presence. And so prayer helps. I still, even though I was in a situation, and there was a lot of immoral, I still held on to my morality, right? So in this case with YouTube, there are people who, they don't have integrity. They take other people's material, and it's one thing if you because there are other YouTubers that I agree with, and what I do is I say, well, I heard it from this YouTuber, or I heard it from that YouTuber, or I'll put it in my description box. Whenever I hear somebody, I hit the like button, because I know that a lot of people have choice. And when people choose to be a messenger, and people choose to share content and information to help another person, that's actually beautiful, and they're the original creator. Now, I get all my inspiration from God the Almighty, okay? And so when you're getting this information, it's really a message from God, you know? And so anyways, YouTube is making it easy for where they call it fair use. Now on my video I call it fair use, and if it's fair use in terms of educational purposes, then that's one thing. But what I've noticed is that YouTube is giving the authority for people to, they're not outrightly saying you have the permission to do this and the permission to do that and get away with it, but it's about morale. And now people are able to um, you know, change their dates of when they actually put the information out there. And my son had noticed this, and I said, yeah, this is something that they're doing. And it's about morale. It's about, your code of ethics. Do you have any? And when you have code of ethics, you don't cross those boundaries. It's not even about the other person. It's about your own boundaries. It's about your own code of ethics. It's about your own integrity. And so, in order for people to be at a point of beast mode in a negative way, in the Bible, it talks about how the dragon gave authority to the beast. And so, when certain things are allowed, and they know that people are not going by a morale state of being and thinking, they actually are making it easier for people to use other people's material and to put it at a date that it's earlier than the person that they got it from. You see? And in a state of that, it's like a secret competition. It's really ridiculous to me, because it's what I see is that people are like, well, yeah, I can get away with it. It must be fine. They give me the authority. They allow me to change the dates. But really, something deeper is going on, and it's on a spiritual plane. Because, it's like you're able to do it, but, does your conscience come into play at any way? Does it come into play by any means? Are you able to govern yourself, or must you be babysat? Are we children or are we adults? Honest, right? Can you be trusted? Or does there need to be micromanaging? And so when they make it easy for people to take other people's content and then predate it at an earlier date, it's like a secret competition. Really, what people are not understanding is on a spiritual plane, they are lowering their morality. Already in video games, we see the content and the theme of it is about lowering the morale, even in children. So we got so many things that's lowering morality within children and even in the simplest and small things. And so when this continues forth and it's nurtured, okay, it's like indirectly giving people the authority to be immoral. And it's sad because this is how people get into that beast mode of where they can see dead bodies in the street and not care, and if anything, celebrate. In the Bible, it talks about how people were giving each other gifts. These people weren't even given the honor and respect of being buried. So these two witnesses, which we know about the two witnesses to a fuller degree, their bodies were in the street and nobody cared. And the Divine Spirit is saying, okay, we read it, but it's about understanding the process of which these people are coming to a point of not caring. And people are going to be stalking other people. And why aren't they not in trouble yet? So much more immorality will be taking place. And they're going to do it even the more because they're not going to be stopped. And this is all about the spirit of the Antichrist. And so this is how the Antichrist is able to not submerge, but emerge from the oceans from the sea of the emotions of people with low morale. I've stated before in another video that in order for the Antichrist to be respected and received and embraced, they themselves have to be so deep in darkness that the Antichrist appears to be the light, that the Antichrist appears to be the one of peace and solution, but he's not. And so the Divine Spirit was showing me that this is what's going on. This is the process by which people end up being in that horrible beast mode of celebrating when people's bodies are in the street. And so, beautiful soul family, this is why self-love, self-care, self-nurture is important. This is why disconnecting from the world and reconnecting to divine spirit is so crucial, especially in these time frames, because we're going to see more and more immorality happening. It's going to be the standard norm. There will be chaos. There won't be rest. There won't be soundness of mind. And so this is why they have more and more cameras about, because they are this is what's taking place. They are slowly but surely getting the general population to live in a life of immorality, of not having a conscience, of not being connected to that of which is divine. And sadly enough, there are going to be religious leaders who know that this is going on right now and are condoning it. And so, beautiful soul family, this is the download about beast mode, about how times are going to get worse, and why now is so important, beautiful soul family, to 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 form your relationship with divine spirit and Jesus Christ, to it starts with you, but it doesn't end with you. It ends with unity with one another. And like I said, there, I've gone through being stalked. I've gone through a lot of things, beautiful soul family. But God, because of God, I'm still alive. But I'm not a victim. I'm victorious. Okay. And my victories are not based off of money and notoriety because obviously I don't have those things. But my victory is based on something else that can't be taken away, even by force. So have a beautiful and wonderful day, beautiful soul family. Namaste.